Hey, what's up people, it's TTC. This video right here officially marks 1 year on YouTube. So to celebrate, I decided, let's go out and do a bit of toy hunting. And I kind of want to try something a little bit special, a little bit different this time. If you've watched any of my toy hunting videos over the last year, you'll know that there's 4 or 5 places that I tend to go to quite frequently. The Star Wars man in Affleck's Palace, Forbidden Planet, HMV. Of course, you got all the bargain places like B&M, Home Bargains. Over the last year, I've probably filmed around these places sort of 4 or 5 times already. So I kind of fancied trying something a little bit different. So I jumped straight on Google and I was like, toy shops around Manchester. And exactly as I imagined, there was basically nothing. But after expanding my horizons a little bit further outside of the central Manchester, I managed to find one place that actually kind of caught my attention. Just a little retro vintage toys and game shop in the middle of Bolton called Name of the Game. There wasn't really much online about this place. I couldn't find a lot other than a couple of photos. But what I could see in them, it looked like a pretty cool place, you know? I mean, I could see tons of stuff just in these photos that I would have been interested in already. I had a quick flick through all the reviews on Google and all of them are saying the same thing, that the prices in here are amazing, super cheap, and the guy who works there, super friendly, super cheap. That's my kind of thing. So even though the weather was your classic, super miserable Manchester weather that day, I decided I'm going out anyway. I didn't have loads of money to spend, so I had to be kind of smart about what I was looking for. Or as smart as you can be when you go into a place that you've never been before and you don't know what's there. Gotta try real hard not to just get super excited by everything. You know what I mean. And even though it's on the other side of Manchester from me, it wasn't super far to travel, it was only about a 15-20 minute drive. So let's stop waffling on, and we'll go take a look around Name of the Game. Now, never having been here before, I wasn't sure exactly how easy it would be to find this place. But now it's super simple, right there, just on the high street, and you could immediately see right from walking up to the windows just how much cool stuff there was in this place. You can see before even actually going in, just how much of a wide variety of stuff there actually is here. The first thing that actually caught my attention was these action men. They're not something that I would actually collect now as an adult, but I had so many of them as a kid that it's still actually kind of exciting to see these things in person. All sorts of stuff like superhero figures, little Lego minifigures, but lots of retro vintage stuff as well. Like if you look up here at the top, there's little Tracy Island. I mean, my god. Not something I'd be interested in buying, but wow, that reminds me of my childhood. First thing I noticed when I stepped inside was these just walls of loose figures. Just these shelves that stretched from one end of the shop pretty much all the way down to the other end. And these things were absolutely packed. Mostly like superhero, Marvel and DC. This little Marvel Universe Captain Britain actually caught my eye. I like the metallic paint scheme on it, but I'm not really a massive fan of Captain Britain, so I left that one there. But that US agent and the Red Skull there, I mean, they look pretty cool. All these different Captain Americas, and then loads of these kind of 90s Kenner Batman figures, which, again, such a big part of my childhood, and it's so cool to just see loads of them together like this. I had fun going through this little tub of Jack's wrestling figures, another one that I had so many of when I was younger. Plus I personally just love a good rummage through a box of loose figures. And for anyone who's into Matchbox, Hot Wheels cars, that kind of thing, there was absolutely tons of them sat here in these tubs. Of course, it won't be a toy shop without the obligatory crap load of Funko Pops. So I had to get right in and have a real good look through these shelves because there's just so much stuff. I was particularly drawn to all the 3 3/4 Star Wars because I've been on such a Clone Wars kick for so long lately. I was determined I was going to find something really good here. And just look at these prices, man, like £1.50, £2, £3 for a figure. You don't see these kind of prices anymore. This got me pretty excited. I actually would have taken that Phase 2 Captain Rex home with me, especially for £2.50, but unfortunately his rangefinder was broken and he was missing his shoulder pauldron. And I thought it was proper cool just seeing all these tubs of loose figures lying around. If you have a look, there's so many different things. Minecraft and football figures, 80s, 90s figures, McDonald's toys. Some serious variety. No matter what you collect, I'd be surprised if you could come in here and not find something. Moving towards the back of the shop here, and this is, to me, where all the coolest stuff was. We all know I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and there was just like one of pretty much everything. There was so much random stuff here. I'm all for being all organised, kinda. But I'm also a massive fan of walking in a place like this where there's just tons of crap thrown on some shelves and you've got to really dig deep and find stuff. It's half the fun of hunting in person rather than online, really, isn't it? Some Sylvanian Families play sets at the top here, which my wife has already commanded that I go back and get for her at some point. It's not all just toys though. Amongst all the books and the comic books, there was also quite a large collection of DVDs. I enjoyed having a good look through these because there's some that I haven't even thought about in years. They were mostly Disney or superheroes or action movies, that kind of thing, but there was absolutely tons of stuff. The Fantastic Four cartoon there, and Thor, and even the Batman animated series, Dread. I don't collect Power Rangers anymore, but since I was seeing so many things from my childhood, I just thought I've got to dive in this and just have a good sort through and just see if there was anything cool that caught my eye. This box was properly packed full. Mostly more modern stuff, if you can count 2008 as modern still. Just a bit further along there were similar boxes, but they were full of Star Wars figures. You know I had to just jump right in and have a look through these. Again, the price is just ridiculously cheap. I don't think I saw anything that wasn't between £1 and £3. And you know me, I'm a cheap bastard, so I got excited and was like, I need to find something in here just so I can say that I spent that much on a figure. This Last Jedi version of Rey is actually one of the few figures missing from my sequels collection, but right now I'm not really concentrating on that too much, so I didn't really bother picking her up. There's a nice wall of carded vintage collection, retro collection, all these sort of 5p away Star Wars figures, and obviously everywhere you go there's Power of the Force and Power of the Jedi. These aren't things that I'd collect, but again, that packaging is still so cool to just see. And the Phantom Menace one too. That packaging is proper nostalgic to me. This shelf full of Action Man villains, it nearly got me. That Gangrene and the Dr. X, I remember them too really clearly from my childhood. They nearly got me. I nearly jumped right in, but no, I really don't need to be starting an Action Man collection at this point in my life. Loads of Star Trek stuff in here. It's really not something I'm interested in, but I know a lot of people are, and I don't know if those were actual Migos there, but if they were, I've never actually seen them in person before, so that was actually pretty cool to see in a store. These middle shelves were packed full of like super bright, colourful 80s stuff like He-Man, Masters of the Universe, that kind of thing. I was born in 1993, so none of this means anything to me. But obviously, these things are a really important part of toy collecting nowadays. I have no idea if any of it was the really valuable stuff because I know nothing about any of it. But if it was, it's still 3, 4, 5 quid. It's insane, man. And I just noticed those ugly Martian figures up top. I didn't even know they made figures from that show. Plenty of Ninja Turtles. Again, not my thing, but there was quite a lot from all the different iterations of them as well. K9 up here, another thing that's on my wife's list that I've got to go back and get for her. She don't even collect toys, I think she just likes bossing me around. This caught my eye though. I've been looking at the Arc 170 for years thinking, it's too big, don't really have any space for it, and I can't really afford it. And then I noticed that price sticker there, it said 15 quid. 15 quid. Can't walk away from that for that price. And they had one of those massive X-Wings that come out a few years ago that nobody had any idea what to do with them. And I was talking to the owner and he said the same thing, he had no idea where to display that. Loads of WCW and WWF wrestlers, and it's like a little time capsule or something, man. It's basically saying, you know all those wrestlers that you had as a kid that your dad sold for 50p on the car boot sale? Well, here they all are. Come and buy them again, I dare you. Luckily, I managed to stop myself, but there was some pretty cool stuff here. Like this unmasked WCW Rey Mysterio, how often do you see that? For a £5 too. More Power Rangers below that, and I'll be honest, that metallic pink Ranger there, oh, it had me tempted. I would have bought it, but I really can't be bothered trying to track down all the others. That was the only thing that stopped me because she's pretty nice looking being all shiny like that. Some Toy Story, Woody, Buzz Lightyear, that weird Spork guy. Look at that, even some figures of The Shadow with Alec Baldwin, Jesus, I didn't even know they existed. This shelf made me pretty excited though, all these 90s X-Men figures. This was a real tug on the nostalgia bone for me. I had so many of these and it's pretty cool seeing them again. I even really like that X-Men Evolution Cyclops at the back. I know it's not everybody's favourite cartoon version of X-Men, but I proper loved that growing up. At one point I would have been all over these Toy Biz Lord of the Rings figures. I used to have so many of these. Back round to the front again now, and I noticed this Xena figure from the Hercules TV series. I mean, bloody hell man, talk about obscure. I ain't seen anything like that for probably about 20 years. Couple of inbox Marvel Legends over here, and I did have a good look through them. There was some pretty good stuff, but I have a lot of Marvel Legends, so there wasn't really anything that I really needed right now. Still cool though. Now I think these tubs down here were all those sort of Disney Infinity kind of figures, which I've never really understood what the hell they even are, to be honest, but I know a lot of people are really into them. A lot of Batman related stuff in these cabinets. That Lady Shiva there caught my eye straight away. And that weird Bane with the long hair sticking out the back of his mask. I used to have that black Kenner Batman with the white lightning bolts all over him too. And there's that purple and yellow weird sort of like ninja Batman, but he's got all the shurikens down his belt. The 90s was a weird time, man. Speaking of which, this next thing that I spotted up the top here got me proper giddy like a little child. That's the car from Masked Rider or Kamen Rider, whatever you want to call it. But I know that I had this when I was younger, and it was one of my favourite toys that I owned. And as soon as I saw this, I got proper giddy. I purposely made sure that I didn't even look at the price, because I cannot be grabbing that when I don't have any other Masked Rider anything in my collection. So sadly I had to leave it there. But it still got me really giddy, and I took a picture of it and sent it to my mum, and I was like, hey, do you remember when I used to have this? And she didn't have a fucking clue what the hell I was on about. I like the look of that Marvel Select Winter Soldier. It's a shame that he's 7 inches. If it would fit in with my Marvel Legends, I would have grabbed that. A couple of these kind of weird modern Hasbro Power Rangers. Not really the kind of thing that I'd probably collect, but for £4 each, they'd be really good for a kid to play with. Now, I'll be honest, I've got absolutely no idea what the hell these Commando books are, but I'm just always immediately drawn to a book with really yellowed pages. Gotta love that smell. Loads of these 12-inch kind of Titan Hero style figures. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Buzz Lightyear. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine there being many adult collectors actually buying these kind of things, but they must be really cool to children though. I know my son had quite a few of the animated Avengers ones. Now I don't even know why, but I felt the need to get a closer look at this. I think it's a Ninjago, kind of like a mech suit kind of thing. Just had a really cool looking design. Little collection of Batmobiles down at the bottom. I really like the look of this Justice League one. I would have got it if it wasn't the version with the big cannon sticking out the seat though. These back two, I'm pretty sure are Imagine X, which is a shame because of how small they are, because I actually really like the design of this one at the back. Look at that though, it's got a figure in there and it's only £8. I mean, this guy's got to be underpricing himself for something because it's so cheap in here. And there were some nice looking DC figures above that. Don't really see many of these Arrow, DC Collectibles, DC Icon stuff anymore. I didn't quite catch it on camera, but at the top there was the accessory pack with all the different arrows and batarangs and whatever, and that's always good to have. You collect any scale of DC and you see that, I'd definitely recommend grabbing it. Don't know why I didn't. Now, I don't really have any 3 3/4 Marvel figures, but for some reason I just felt the need to have a look through these, although I kept knocking them off this peg here. I did pick them back up again, don't worry. Never been a Lego guy, but when I was a kid, the only thing I'd really have out of it was all the little minifigures, so I still think these are kind of cool. And there was quite a lot of them. It's another thing where I don't know what's worth what, but they were really cheap, so if this is your kind of thing, I'd probably come down here and just grab as many of them as you can. I've no idea why I was staring at this Optimus Prime either. Really not something I'm interested in, but I think that big long green sword just, I don't know, made it look kind of cool. These cabinets were filled with those little statues that you get of little Marvel figures. I can't even remember what they're called. You know, the kind of things that you get off the front of like little magazines. The word is escaping me, and it's getting on my nerves because I know that there'll probably be comments saying, oh, it's this thing, you stupid idiot. Loads of the classic Toy Biz, Fantastic Four Marvel Legends. This whole cabinet was pretty Marvel Legends heavy, and there was some really cool things that I haven't seen in quite a while. I like the look of that Iron Man there on the side. I nearly grabbed that Demo Goblin there because he's got such a nice glider, and for some reason he also had Jack-O-Lantern's broomstick behind him. And I thought if I buy that, I can find the better Hasbro figure of the Goblin and then probably put them two together. And then I just thought, no, that sounds like a lot of work. I'm way too lazy for that. And here's me spinning around like an idiot doing a 360-degree view of the shop. Probably look pretty stupid doing this, but I really wanted to show off just how much there is packed into such a little space in here. Nice TIE bomber there at the top. Warriors of Virtue, man. This movie is something that I watched as a kid and I really liked it, but I had no idea what the hell it was. And I'd explain it to people like, oh, it's Kung Fu Kangaroos. Nobody ever had a clue. I didn't even know they made figures of these. Probably would have actually grabbed the White Ranger there if he'd had his chestplate armor thing. What's with this super buff, roided out Billy? I really like the look of this little Marvel Universe Sabretooth. It's just a cool looking figure in general. Don't really know why I didn't pick that up. Kind of annoyed now looking back at it. Is that a Whistler from the Blade movie as well? Wow. I had one last dig through that Power Rangers bin and I noticed this guy from Die Ranger. £2.50. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, someone let me know, but surely this is worth at least a little bit of money. This shiny Batman was one I used to have as well, but the Vacuchrome on this is in such good condition, mine was absolutely ruined as a kid. I really enjoyed just having a look around this place. I had no idea what I was expecting when I went in there, but I did manage to pick up a couple of bits, so let's go check them out. Oh man, did I do better in there than I was expecting. Those Google reviews were spot on, it was so damn cheap in there. It's a good job it's a bit of a drive to there, because otherwise I can see it being the kind of place that I'd just pop in every 2 days and just spend. Loads of cool stuff in there too. Not everything was to my taste, but I still managed to find something that I was really excited about. Of course I had to pick up this bad boy. I mean, Jesus. Look at the size of this thing. I don't even know if I can get this on camera with me. 15 quid though. 15 quid for an Arc 170 is absolutely crazy. This is one of those things that's been sort of on my, I call it my maybe list. As in, I definitely wanted one, but the prices are usually pretty high, and again, massive. I don't really have anywhere that I can keep this thing. Oh well. But for 15 quid, there was no chance I was walking away from this thing. Now it is missing the little torpedo missile things that shoot out the end of this gun, which isn't a big deal to me. I'm really not a missiles guy. Couldn't really care less about them. And it's also missing the little glass canopy off the back cockpit there. I don't know if I can even... Jesus, this thing is big. That one's the one that isn't great, but again, for 15 quid, I can get over that, and I'm pretty sure I can find one of them loose on eBay. It's just crazy, because when it comes to 3.75 Star Wars vehicles, I always wanted an LA-80 and then one of these, and I always said to myself, they're kind of expensive, and I don't really have the space for either of them. So they kind of ended up on my list of like, yeah, I want them, but it's probably never going to happen. And then I've literally found both of them in the space of the last month or two for really good prices. I don't know how I managed to pull that one off. But yeah, this thing is cool as hell. I think I'll have to do its own video and we can get a proper look at this, rather than just me trying to fit it in frame along with my big fat head. And then as I mentioned, I don't really collect 3 3/4 Marvel figures, but as I was leaving, I just thought this guy was so nice and his prices are so good. I just want to grab something else, and I noticed this little Iron Man just sat on those big shelves full of loose figures. And something about his sparkling metallic paint job, it just sucked me in. I just really like the look of this guy. £2.50 as well. I mean, I can't drill it home enough that this shop was crazy, insane prices. The kind of prices from like 20 years ago. I'm sure you could buy something like this for that cheap, and then just go straight and whack it on eBay and make yourself a little bit of a profit. But that would make you a dick. I don't buy things to sell them on, I buy things to have fun with them and enjoy them, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. This guy can go sit on my desk and look pretty cool. Oh, and let's not forget he come with this little rocket booster base thing as well, which I like the look of this. It's a bit weird that it's in a translucent reddish colour, not really the kind of colour you expect. Usually see this thing in kind of more of a white or a blue or even a yellow, but I kind of like it. It has got a little foot peg. It's not the tightest of fits, but it holds him on there well enough and he looks pretty cool. So again, £2.50. I'm pretty happy with this. Now to just get just a little bit serious for just a minute. I was in there for probably about an hour and a half, and I was talking to the owner the whole time. Again, all those reviews that said he was a super friendly guy, he was. He was telling me his whole life story, and he just proper innocent, proper nice guy. He's also telling me about how he's sort of struggling with his sales since COVID. You know how everybody started just buying things online. He doesn't get that much traffic in and out of his shop anymore. He was talking to me about how sometimes he sells at toy fairs, but the table prices are so high and he has to bring so much stuff with him and then shut his shop down for the day that it's not even really worth it, and that he's kind of struggling a bit. And of course, there's the fact that he told me, even though he does get kids in there sometimes, toy collecting is not really the kind of thing that kids go in there and they want to spend all the pocket money on anymore. It's become all about us old men buying up the dollies we had when we were kids. And yeah, it just sort of, it hit me a bit. We really got to take care of these kind of shops and give them the business that they deserve, assuming they do deserve it, which this guy did. But really got to take care of these kind of shops and keep them going whilst we can, because they're not going to be around forever. And I think these kind of little businesses with retro and vintage and secondhand stuff, they're so important. Not everybody wants to buy everything off Amazon or eBay, which I do use them both. I admit that. But if the whole hobby just ended up buying things online and these kind of shops just disappeared completely, that's a big chunk of the fun just gone. So yeah, take care of these local businesses, especially ones that take care of you with their ridiculous prices. And if you're in Manchester, Greater Manchester, in Bolton, go and check this guy out. I guarantee you, no matter what you collect, you will find something in there. So don't forget to like this video. Drop us a comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Plenty more videos coming soon. Go check out my previous video looking at these bad boys, these Tekken figures. These are cool. If you don't, because he's going to kick you in the face. And again, happy 1 year anniversary to me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.